Lakshmi Prasanna, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. In this session, we will discuss how to interface DMA controller with 8086 microprocessor. So here, we have learned about two types of DMA controllers, that is 8237 DMA controller and also 8257 DMA controller. We should now learn how to interface this DMA controller to 8086 microprocessor. Now, so we have already discussed about this 8257 DMA controller. Pin configuration we have seen, features and also the architecture of 8257 DMA controller. So after learning about all that, now we should know how to interface this 8257 DMA controller with 8086 microprocessor. So this is just the schematic diagram of how to interface this DMA controller with 8086 microprocessor. Now coming to the basic concept about how all the blocks are arranged. So here this is the CPU. Generally in our case it is the microprocessor, and here comes the DMA controller unit. And this DMA controller may be either 8237 DMA controller or 8257 DMA controller. And here comes the peripheral device. So it is nothing but the IO device what we need to connect to each channel. And here there is a memory. And this A, D and C. So this A line represents address line which carries the address. And this D signal represents the data line which carries the data, and this is C which is called the control bus. So these three lines together call system bus. So here, in order to have the fastest data rate between this peripheral devices and memory, we need to make this microprocessor isolate. So in order to make this microprocessor isolate, what we have to do means, you have to use one important hardware unit which is called DMA controller. Now, how the data rate will be increased by using this DMA controller means, initially the peripheral devices will send the DMA request signal to the DMA controller. And then the DMA controller will send the hold signal for 8086 microprocessor asking for the system bus request. If the microprocessor is willing to release the system bus access to the requested DMA controller, this microprocessor is going to send the hold acknowledgement signal to the DMA controller. So if once this DMA controller receives the hold acknowledgement signal, it means the system bus have been handed by the DMA controller, or the CPU has released the system bus. And after taking the hold acknowledgement signal, this DMA controller is going to send the DMA acknowledgement signal to the peripheral devices. So here, once if this peripheral devices receives this DMA acknowledgement signal, they will understand that the system bus have been released by the CPU and it is there with the DMA controller. And now the data transfer can perform between the peripheral devices and memory directly. So here is the switch configuration. If the DMA controller is not involved, all the switches will be connected to the CPU. All the switches means the address bus, data bus and control bus, all of them will be connected to the CPU. Once if the DMA controller is involved, all the switches will, so if we consider this is the up position. If this DMA controller is involved, all the switches will changes its position. So all the switches will changes its position towards down. So all the switches will be connected to this DMA controller unit. Then the DMA controller, with the help of this DMA controller, the peripheral devices and the memory can have the data transfer. So this is the main concept of using this DMA controller and data transfer between memory and IO devices. Now, so based on the diagram what we have discussed, so here it is there. Initially, when the device has to send data between the device and the memory, first it is going to send one signal which is called DRQ signal to the DMA controller. That means the CPU first sends the DMA request signal to the DMA controller. After this DMA request signal is received by the DMA controller, it is going to send, it means DMA controller is going to send the hold request signal to the CPU, that is microprocessor. After the microprocessor receiving this hold request signal, it is going to send the hold acknowledgement signal again to the DMA controller. So sending the hold acknowledgement signal means the microprocessor is going to release, it is going to leave the control over the bus. The system bus access will be given to the DMA controller. Once if this DMA controller receives this hold acknowledgement signal, the DMA controller is going to send the DMA acknowledgement signal to the peripheral device which has requested by the DMA controller. So this is the entire operation, how the CPU will get isolated and how the DMA controller is going to gain access of the system bus. Now, so here this is how we have to interface this 8257 DMA controller with 8086 microprocessor. So here if you see, this is a 8257 DMA controller and here we have 8086 microprocessor. We have to interface this 8257 DMA controller to 8086 microprocessor. And here this is a 8284 IC. So this 8284 IC is called clock generator. So this is the clock generator IC which is going to produce the clock frequency for this 8086 microprocessor. And we know the clock frequency based on the version of 8086 microprocessor, it may be 5 MHz, 8 MHz and 10 MHz. So the clock frequency will be generated by this 8284 IC which is called clock generator. And here this MN by MX bar signal, it is connected to VCC. That means here this 8086 microprocessor, it will be having this MN by MX bar means this MN is the minimum mode signal which is active low signal. And this MX bar, it is a active low signal which stands for maximum mode operation. So here if it is connected to VCC, it represents that this 8086 microprocessor is operating in the minimum mode. Now, so here we can find latches and we know that here the latches what we are using is of octal latches. So 8086 microprocessor is having 20 address lines. So in order to handle the 20 address lines, we require 3 octal latches. So here this is the latch 1 and this is latch 2 and another latch is here latch 3. So 3 octal latches are used here because the address bus size of 8086 microprocessor is 20 bit. And if you see here, this is the latch 1 and latch 2 which will be handling the address lines from AD0 to AD15. So out of these 2 latches, we know that the latch is used for demultiplexing the address and data lines and the output of latch will be only address lines. So out of this multiplexed address data lines, the output of the latch is A0 to A15. That is only address lines which are of 16 bit. But the address bus size in 8086 microprocessor is 20 bit. So here are the 16 bit. Remaining 4 bit will be here A16 to A19. So this A16 to A19 are the address lines which will be multiplexed with the status lines. So in order to demultiplex this address status lines, here one more latch is used. So that is why the output of this latch will be the address lines from A16 to A19. So that is why here 3 latches are used. And here, since this 8086 microprocessor is operating in the minimum mode, all the control signals like RD bar, WR bar, that is read, write, memory and IO. So all these control signals like ready, reset, clock, all the control signals will be present within 8086 microprocessor itself. And here this is a 3 to 8 decoder. So the output of this decoder will be the combination of all the control signals, like whether it is read, write, whether it is from the memory or to the memory. Okay, so that combination will be decided by this 3 to 8 decoder. So the output of 3 to 8 decoder is here memory read, memory write, IO read and IO write. And here also we can see this is the clock generator, and here this clock generator, here this is the clock generator to produce the clock frequency for 8086 microprocessor. And here this is one more clock generator which is going to produce the frequency for this 8257 DMA controller. The frequency that can be handled by this 8257 DMA controller is maximum 3 MHz. So the 3 MHz frequency, in order to produce for this DMA controller, we are using here one more clock. So this is the clock generator for this 8257 DMA controller. And here the address decoder is used. Generally in this 8257 DMA controller, we have one important control signal called CS bar. So that CS bar represents chip select. So when this signal is enabled only, this 8257 will be activated. So generally this chip selection line of this 8257 DMA controller will be driven by this address decoder only. And so we have to interface this 8257 DMA controller to 8086 microprocessor. So whatever the common pins that are available in 8086 and 8257 DMA controller, all of them should be interfaced. So here we can see this is a memory read, and here it is memory write, IO read and IO write. These are the signals available in 8257. So using these signals, in order to transfer the data from the memory or to the memory, that means either reading operation or writing operation, the same signals are available with 8086 microprocessor also. That is memory read, memory write, IO read and IO write. So that is why here the same signals of these 8086 microprocessor will be connected to 8257 DMA controller. And another one is here. This is the clock signal. So here the clock signal of 8086 will be connected to the clock signal of this 8257 DMA controller. And another one is hold acknowledgement. So generally here this is we have here in 8086 the signal as HOLD, but in 8257 DMA controller we have HLD. So the HOLD signal of 8086 should be connected to HLD signal of 8257 DMA controller. So in the same way here, HLDA signal of 8086 should be connected to the HLDA signal of 8257 DMA controller. And so here we have this AEN, that is address enable. This address enable will be driven by this latch. And this is the address strobe signal. And here we can see, generally in the features of this 8257 DMA controller, we have studied that there are 4 channels available. So channel 0, channel 1, channel 2 and channel 3. So here are the 4 channels device, and for each channel one IO device can be connected. So for channel 0 we can connect one IO device. which is called device 0. And for channel 1, we can connect another device, that is device 1. For channel 2, we can connect device 2. And for channel 3, we can connect device 3. So from these devices, the DMA controller can read or write to this IO devices using the signals IO read and IO write. Okay. So here this D0 to D7 or the data lines. So using these 8-bit bidirectional data bus of this 8257 DMA controller, this will be interfaced or it will be transferring the data to 8086 microprocessor using 8-bit bidirectional data bus only. And so for each channel, one IO device is connected. So here for each device, we will have their own DMA request and DMA acknowledgement signals. So each device can communicate with this 8257 DMA controller by using related DMA request signals and DMA acknowledgement signals. So in this way, we have to interface this 8257 DMA controller with 8086 microprocessor. Now, another DMA controller is also there, not only 8257. Another DMA controller is 8237. So 8237 is also one of the DMA controller. So in the previous sessions, we have discussed about this 8237 DMA controller. So we have seen the features. We have also discussed about the pin configuration of this 8237 DMA controller. So it is also having 40 pins. So all the pins will be same as we have seen in 8257 DMA controller. Only one new pin will be here in 8237 DMA controller, that is EOP. So EOP represents end of process. So if you see here in this block diagram, we can observe all the 40 pins of this 8237, what we have discussed in the previous session. So here it consists of a timing and control block. So to this timing and control block, we have different signals here. So the number of signals that are available for this timing and control block, here totally there are 11 pins. And here we can see another block which is called priority encoder and rotating priority logic. So for this also we have different signals, the number of signals here that are 10. So here we can observe this is a DRQ0 to DRQ3, that is DMA request. So in 8237 also totally 4 channels are there. So for each channel we will have one DMA request signal. So for 4 channels we will have 4 DMA request signals. And similarly for 4 DMA channels we will have their own DMA acknowledgement signals also. So these are the 4 acknowledgement signals. So 4, 4, 8, and this is a hold acknowledgement and hold request. So these are the total 10 signals. And another signals here we can see this is A0 to A3 and A4 to A7. So these are the 8 address lines. So this is the lower nibble and this is the higher nibble. So totally these address pins are 8. And here we can observe this is a DB0 to DB7. This is bidirectional data bus which is of 8-bit in size. So here we have 8 signals, that is DB0, DB1, DB2, DB3, so on up to DB7. So along with these signals, we also have signals like NC in the pin configuration of 8237. So this NC represents no connection. And another signals also we have, that is VCC and VSS. So this VCC represents power supply and this VSS represents ground. So totally all these are the 40 pins. So all the pins are represented here. but only these pins are not visible here. So if you include these pins internally, totally 40 pins are there in the block diagram of this 8237 DMA controller. So here the main difference between the 8257 DMA controller and 8237 DMA controller is, in 8257 we have only 4 channels. So only 4 IO devices can be connected. But whereas here in 8237 DMA controller, it also has 4 channels. If we want to connect more than 4 IO devices, we have to go for cascading concept. So by going for this cascading concept, more than 4 IO devices can be connected. That means by increasing the number of channels. And one more thing is, in 8257 DMA controller, the data transfer can be performed between the peripheral devices and main memory. But whereas in this 8237 DMA controller, along with that feature, we also have memory to memory data transfer. That memory to memory data transfer is there only in this 8237 DMA controller. Now, so here this timing and control block is going to produce the timing and control signals. And here we have this temporary word count register, like we have discussed about the block diagram of 8257 DMA controller. So in that 8257 DMA controller, we have studied that in each channel there will be one DMA address register and also count register. So this address register and count register will be there in individual channels. But here, similarly, in each channel, we will have temporary word count register and temporary address register. So each register is 16-bit in size. And here, this temporary word count register and temporary address register will be driven by this read-write buffer. Okay, so here this buffer can be read or write. By using this buffer, both reading and writing can be possible. And so whereas here this is only read buffer. So this read buffer consists of base address and base word count. So this base address is also 16-bit and this base word count is also 16-bit. So totally this entire block diagram will be divided into different blocks. Like here this is timing and control block, that is one unit, and another unit is this priority encoder and rotating priority logic block. And along with this we also have registers, okay, command words. So all these three plays the major role in the block diagram of 8237 DMA controller. So these are the, in this read-write buffer, we have like this control address and, current address and current word count register. These are also the internal registers that are available. So each register is of 16-bit in size. So whereas here, this base address and this current address will be driven by this write buffer, whereas here this base word count and current word count, so those two blocks will be driven by this read buffer. So here there are two types of buffers, write buffer and read buffer. So these blocks will be, some of the blocks will be driven by this write buffer and some will be driven by this read buffer. So along with this, we also have command register which is of 8-bit size, mask register which is of 4-bit size. So this register is used to mask the bits or ignore the device's requests. And this is the request register which is of 4-bit in size. And this is the internal bus. So this IO buffer to this IO buffer, the lower order address lines A0 to A3 will be connected. So by using this A0 to A3 address lines only, here this address register or count register will be selected, because in each channel we will be having one address register and one counter register. So based on this lower order address lines only, which channel address register and which channel count register should be selected. It will be decided by this lower order address lines. And so these are the higher order address lines which will be connected to the output buffer. And here this is the command control, and here this is IO buffer, which we can also call as data buffer. So to this buffer only this bidirectional 8-bit data lines are connected. So using this 8-bit bidirectional data bus, this total 8237 DMA controller will be interfacing with 8086 microprocessor. And using this 8-bit bidirectional data lines only, the communication between this 8237 and 8086 microprocessor will be performed. So along with this, we also have mode register, status register, and temporary register. Now we will discuss about all these blocks and also the registers that are available in this block diagram in detail. Next, so we have seen just now the block diagram of this 8237 DMA controller. So in that we have observed the important block which is called timing and control block, and also below that we have seen priority block, and next we have seen this programmed command control block. So in this programmed command control block only, all the internal registers will be there, like address register, count register. So all these internal registers will be totally considered as one block, that is programmed command control block. All these are the main components that are available in the block diagram of 8237 DMA controller. And so by using this timing and control block, so the function of this timing and control block is it derives the internal timing from clock input and generates the external control signals. And here the function of this priority encoder block is it is going to resolve all the priority problems, because here generally in 8237 DMA controller also totally 4 channels are available. So if all the IO devices connected to all the 4 channels, if they want to transfer the data, all of the IO devices will send the request to the DMA controller at a time. In such cases, this priority encoder will be coming into action, and it is going to solve all the priorities problems, and then it is going to select one of the IO device for data transfer. So that priority may be either fixed priority or rotating priority. Based on the mode of operation, the priority will be resolved by this priority encoder. So this is about this timing and control block and priority encoder. Now this programmed command control block means here all the internal registers will be there. Now we will discuss about all the internal registers. Now, so here the first internal register in the block diagram we have observed, that is CAR, that is the short form we have represented here. So the CAR represents current address register. So the CAR represents current address register. Okay. So this current address register, if you observe in the block diagram, that address bit size, it is of 16-bit. So in this 16-bit register, what will be stored means current address will be stored. That means the current memory address will be stored. So using that current memory address only, the DMA controller, if any IO device wants to transfer the data, by using this register, the data transfer will be performed. Now, so if we observe here this current address register, we have 4 DMA channels. each DMA channel will be having its own current address register. That is 16-bit current address register will be present in each of the 4 channels. Now, so when a byte of data is transferred during a DMA operation, the current address register is either incremented or decremented, depending on how it is programmed. So for each DMA operation, the current address register may be incremented or decremented by 1. Now, this is the second internal register. This is CWCR. So the CWCR represents current word count register. So previously it is the current address register related to storing the address of the device, but here this is current word count register. Okay, so generally it is used to before the DMA operation starts, we have to initialize this current word count register, because after each DMA cycle, this current word count register will be decremented by 1. So the current word count register programs a channel for the number of bytes to be transferred during the DMA action. So for each DMA cycle, the count register will be decremented by 1. And next internal register is CR. So the short form is CR, but CR represents command register. So this is the command register. Now, so this command register programs the operation of 8237 DMA controller. So in this, we will see the format of this command register. So the register uses bit position 0 to select the memory to memory DMA transfer mode. So here if you observe, this is memory to memory. Okay. So because why this memory to memory is possible only in this 8237 DMA controller means it is possible by using this command register. So we have, while writing the program for this 8237 DMA controller, we have to use this command register to perform the operation data transfer between memory to memory. So if it is a memory to memory, DMA transfer uses the DMA channel. And DMA channel 0 to hold the source address, whereas the DMA channel 1 to hold the destination address. So if you are setting that bit to 0, it means source address will be held by that register, and DMA channel 1 holds the destination address. And this is the 8-bit register format of this command register. So here this is a D0 bit. So this D0 bit may be either 0 or 1. If you are fixing this D0 bit to 0, memory to memory data transfer will be disabled. That means no possibility. Memory to memory data transfer cannot be performed. If you are fixing this D0 bit as 1, memory to memory data transfer will be enabled. And next bit is D1. So here this D1 bit may be either 0 or 1. So if you are fixing this D1 as 0, channel 0 address hold will be disabled. If you are fixing this D1 bit as 1, channel 0 address hold will be enabled. And next is D2 bit. So D2 bit represents here, if that bit is 0, controller will be enabled. So controller here is nothing but DMA controller. DMA controller will be enabled. And if it is D2, 1, the controller will be disabled. And next bit is D3. So D3 bit may be either 0 or 1. So if that bit is 0, normal timing operation. If this D3 bit is 1, compressed timing. That means the timing will be scaled down to some factor. And next bit is D4. So here, if the D4 bit is 0, it will be operating in the fixed priority mode. Fixed priority means if there are 4 channels, automatically channel 0 will be having the highest priority and channel 3 will be having the least priority. If this D4 bit is fixed to 1, rotating priority will be enabled. So here rotating priority means the priorities will be changed in the cyclic manner. And next one is D5 bit. So this D5 bit here, if it is 0, late write selection. If it is 1, extended write selection. So extended write selection means the write operation can be performed one cycle before than the actual operation, so that the processor can know what is the type of operation that has been performed. And D6 bit, if it is fixed to 0, DMA request sense will be active low. And if this D6 bit is fixed to 1, the DMA request sense will be active high. So these two are related to the DMA request signals. And next bit is D7. So if this D7 bit is 0, DMA acknowledgement sense will be active low. If it is 1, DMA acknowledgement sense will be active high. So these two signals are related to DMA request and these two signals are related to DMA acknowledgement signals. And next internal register is BA and BWC. So generally here this BA represents base address and this BWC represents base word count. Okay. So these are the two registers. So first register is BA. So this base address and base word count registers, they are used when auto initialization mode is selected for a channel. Generally, when this DMA controller is operating in this auto initialization mode, these registers are used to reload the CAR and CWCR. So we know this CR represents current address register and this CWCR represents current word count register. These two registers will be reloaded after the DMA operation is completed. So only when it is operating in the auto initialization mode. That means here these registers will be operating only during auto initialization mode. So when it is operating in the auto initialization mode, the current word register and current address register and current word count register will be automatically reloaded after each DMA operation. And next register is MR. So here this MR represents mode register. So this register format, if you observe the bits that are present in this register, so those will decide the mode of operation. So the mode register programs the mode of operation for a channel. Now, so we have 4 channels generally. Each channel will be having its own mode set register. So which channel should have this mode set register means we have to consider that channel and we have to enable it. If we don't want that, we have to disable that channel. So if we see the register format of this mode register, we can understand. And so whereas here the first bit of this mode register will decide the channel selection and the remaining bits of this register will decide the mode register selection, auto initialization, increment, decrement and mode of the channel. So all these parameters will be decided by the remaining bits of this mode register. We can see the format of this mode register. So here this mode register is a 8-bit register. So here the 8 bits are D0 to D7. So this D0 bit and D1 bit, these two bits, just we have seen, these two bits decides the channel selection. So if these two bits are 0, 0, channel 0 will be selected. That means the IO device that is connected to channel 0 will be selected. If these two bits are 0, 1, channel 1 will be selected. If these two bits are 1, 0, channel 2 will be selected. And if these two bits are 1, 0, channel 3 will be selected. So these two bits represent the channel selection. Channel selection. And here the two bits D2 and D3. So these two bits will represent the data transfer type. Data transfer type. So data transfer type means whether it is read operation, write operation, verify operation. So this data transfer type will be decided by this D2 and D3 bits. So if these two bits are 0, 0, it is verify transfer. If it is 0, 1, write transfer, 1, 0, read transfer, 1, 1, illegal. That means its combination is invalid. And next bit is D4 bit. This D4 bit decides whether this 8237 should be working in the auto initialization mode or not. So if it is working in the auto initialization mode, the control address register and control word count register will be automatically reloaded. So in order to make it auto initialization mode disable, we have to make this D4 bit as 0. So if this D4 bit is set as 1, then it will be operating in auto initialization mode. And next bit is D5 bit. So this D5 bit decides whether to increment or decrement the address. So if that D5 bit is 0, it represents auto increment mode selection. If this D5 bit is 1, it says auto decrement selection mode. And this D6 and D7, these two bits decides. So if these two bits are 0, 0, it is demand mode select. If it is 0, 1, single mode select. If it is 1, 0, block mode select. If it is 1, 1, cascade mode select. So all these are the different modes of operation of 8237 DMA controller. So in which mode it has to operate will be decided by this mode register. It is a 8-bit register. And next register is BR, which is called as bus request. So this BR, it is a bus request register used to request the DMA transfer via software, that is by using the instructions. So very useful in memory to memory transfer where an external signal is not available to begin the DMA transfer. So here in this 8237 DMA controller, memory to memory data transfer is possible. So this memory to memory data transfer can be achieved by using the software, that is by using instructions, because there is no special signal externally to this DMA controller to perform the data transfer between memory to memory. So it is possible only with this software. And so this is the 8-bit register format for this bus request register. So all the 8 bits here, the first 2 bits, that is D0 and D1, these 2 bits will decide which channel should be selected. That means to which channel we have to perform the data transfer, or which channel is requesting the bus. So if these 2 bits are 0, 0, channel 0 will be selected. If it is 0, 1, channel 1 will be selected. If it is 1, 0, channel 2 selection. If it is 1, 1, channel 3 will be selected. That means channel 0 is requesting the DMA controller. Channel 2 will be requesting the DMA controller. So that channel, which channel will be requesting, will be decided by this D0 and D1 bits. And the next D2 bit is request bit. So if this is set to 0, reset request bit. That means though there is any channel requesting the bus, if this bit is 0, that request will not be sent to the DMA controller from the channel. And if this bit is set to 1, the request bit will be set and the channel can be requesting the DMA controller for the DMA transfer type. And the next register is MRSR. So this MRSR register, it stands for mask register, set and reset. So by using this register only, we can make any of the channel masking or unmasking. So here mask register, set or reset. So if any bit is masked, that particular request will be ignored. So the mask register, set, reset, sets or clears the channel mask. So if the mask bit is set, the channel will be disabled. So the reset signal sets all the channel masks to disable them. And this is the register format of this mask register, set, reset. And here this is an 8-bit register. So here this D0 and D1 bits decides which channel, channel selection will be decided by this D0 and D1 bits. So if these two bits are 0, 0, channel 0 will be selected. 0, 1, channel 1 is selected. 1, 0, channel 2 will be selected and 1, 1, channel 3 will be selected. So here channel selection will be done, but which channel should be masked will be decided by this D2 bit. If this D2 bit is 0, clear the mask bit. If this D2 bit is 1, set the mask bit. So setting the mask bit means that particular channel will be masked. It means the channel will be disabled. So this is the operation that will be performed by this mask register, set, reset. And next register is mask register, MSR. So it represents mask register. So here this mask register clears or sets all the masks with one command instead of individual channels by using this MRSR register. So here this is the channel. So previously we have seen mask set reset register, but here this is only mask set register. So previously in the register format, this D0 and D1 bit represents the channel selection, but whereas here this mask register will represent here itself which channel should be masked and which channel should be enabled. So this D0 bit is related to channel 0. If it is set to 0, clear channel 0 mask bit. And if it is set to 1, set channel 0 mask bit. So similarly for D1, it is related to channel 1. D2 bit, it is related to channel 2 and D3 bit is related to channel 3. So individual channels can be masked and unmasked. So if you are fixing any of this bit as 1, that particular channel will be masked, disabled, ignored. So in order to enable that channel and make the data transfer between IO device and DMA, we have to make that bit as 0. And next bit is D3 bit. So D3 bit represents related to channel 3. 4 channels are there. So channel 0, channel 1, channel 2 and channel 3. And here this D4, D5, D6 and D7, these 4 bits are don't care in this 8237 DMA controller, mask register. And next register is SR. So SR represents status register. So this register is used to know the status of the DMA controller, that is 8237 DMA controller. Each channel status can be known. So here the TC bits. So TC represents terminal count. So this bit indicate the channel has reached its terminal count condition. If this TC bit is set, it indicates all the DMA cycles have been completed. So here this terminal count bit should be initialized before the DMA operation starts. Now, so when the terminal count is reached, the DMA controller is terminated for most modes of operation. So the request bits indicate whether the DMA request input for the given channel is active or not. So here we can see all these are the bits that are available in the status register format. And so this is the status register format. So it is a 8-bit register. So we have seen some bits says whether the terminal count condition has reached or not. So in 825737 DMA controller, there are 4 channels. So for each channel, we have one terminal count bit. So in order to know which channel has completed the data transfer, then automatically that terminal count bit will be set. Okay. So for example, if this D1 bit is set as 1, it indicates that channel 1 has reached the terminal count condition. That means channel 1 has transferred the complete data. And so for each channel, we will have the terminal count bit. And next, this D4 bit, it represents channel 0 requested service. So if any of the channel is requesting for the service, then we have to set that bit as 1. For example, if that bit is 0, it will indicate that that particular channel, that means the IO device connected to that particular channel, is not requesting any service. If it is requesting the service, that bit will be set to 1. So here this D4, D5, D6 and D7, these are the 4 bits representing for channel 0, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3 requested services. Now, so all those are the internal registers that are available in this 8237 DMA controller. And next one is interfacing of 8237 DMA controller with 8086 microprocessor. So here this is 8237 DMA controller. Here we have 8086 microprocessor. And generally all these are the blocks that are necessary. Okay, so this is the EOP line which represents the end of process. And here we can observe this is the 8284, which is called clock generator IC, which produces the clock frequency for this 8086 microprocessor. Now, here all the control signals are there. All the control signals are present within 8086 microprocessor itself. So here we are interfacing this 8237 DMA controller to 8086 microprocessor when it is operating in the minimum mode. And so here we have 74LS74. So this is nothing but D flip-flop. So using this D flip-flop only, we are going to interact with this 8086 microprocessor, hold and hold acknowledgement signals. So along with that, we also have 74LS138. So this IC is called decoder IC. So here, this is the 3 to 8 decoder IC, which is going to drive this 8237 DMA controller with the help of this chip selection logic. And so here we have IO read, IO write, DMA request and DMA acknowledgement signals. So from all these signals, we are going to connect to the IO devices. And here we have 74LS373. It is nothing but these are octal latches. So 74LS373 IC, it is considered as a octal latch. So for 8086 microprocessor, totally 20 address lines are there. So we will have here 3 octal latches. So here this is the octal latch 1, 74LS373, and this is 74LS373, that is the another latch, and this is the third latch. So 3 octal latches are used here because the address bus size of 8086 is 20 bit. And another one is 74157, which is called multiplexer, and this is 74LS373. So this is also an octal latch. Okay. So here we can have IC 74LS245. So this is called octal bus transceivers. Okay. So octal bus transceivers means generally it is used for asynchronous two-way communication between data buses. And anyway, here we have this D0 to D7 and A0 to A7 address lines. So using this D0 to D7 address lines only, it is going to communicate with 8086 microprocessor. So in 8237 DMA controller, cascading is also possible. If the number of channels are increased, they can be increased also. And in this memory to memory data transfer is also available. So here we have this memory read and memory write, IO read and IO write signals. Okay. So this is how we have to interface this 8237 DMA controller with the 8086 microprocessor. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.